episode 11. You better arrive alive because we don't take them dead. So, in the last episode, Angelique got snatched up, by the False Face gang, and they dragged her off, to the hideout. Sionis, Black Mask, he ran up on her, and he basically was just like, look, he was like, we busted you out because we need you to cook up that snake bite so we can get it back out on the streets. So, they're keeping her alive for that. But she said that she doesn't know the exact formula. Like, Ocean showed her a lot, but he didn't show her everything. And they said that there was one ingredient that was missing, which was Mr. Crane's fear toxin. Ryan's on the phone with Sophie. She freaking out. She's just like, oh, you better save my girlfriend. And then, Sophie's like, yo, I'm on it. Ryan's talking to Luke, and they're just like, listen, like, we know Sophie says she on it, but screw that. It's time to suit up. It's time for Batwoman to hit the streets so they can save Angelique, so they can save Angelique themselves. No Mary in this episode, and her presence was definitely missed. So Batwoman, she's hitting the streets. Like, she finds out that there are 3 cars that are supposed to hit the streets, and they're supposed to go around collecting Scarecrow fear toxin. Batwoman finds one of the cars. She finds all 3 cars. She runs up on one car specifically. She pulls the driver out, slams the driver on the ground, and then when she unmasks the driver, we find out that the driver is Sophie. Sophie was going undercover in the False Face gang and try to find out where their hideout is. And now she's upset because she was like, thanks to Batwoman, she said that you blew my cover, and now I can't go where the drop is because now that I've been compromised, I'm not going to make it in time, and they're going to abort the whole mission. So and then Sophie got upset, and then she even said to her, she was just like, there was a time where I said that we should team up and you basically told me to kiss your ass. So she was just like, if we're not going to team up, she was like, yo, why don't you go save some bank, like stop a bank robber or like get a cat out of a tree and let me go handle my business with the real criminals. Sophie goes back to the Crows, and when she gets to the Crows, Jacob Kane he's there and he's talking to this new particular Crow agent, and this guy, we've never seen him before, but he's supposed to be the head of like some lethal task force. Jacob ends up telling Sophie, he's just like, yo, I'm gonna let him do the task force, and he's gonna bring Black Mask and the False Face gang to justice. And he said that because like the False Face gang, like they killed a bunch of Crows, and Sophie was just like, well, sir, she was just like, this guy, he's kind of a loose cannon, and if he goes in there, he's going to go in guns blazing and he's going to murder everybody, including Angelique. And then he's like, I don't give a damn about Angelique. She made her choice. And then, that's when because Sophie's known him for a long time. And then Sophie was like, Commander, she's like, what's going on? She's just like, this isn't you. Like, you've been off lately. He was like, get out of my office more. And then, you're off the case. And then, he made why everybody making Sophie cry? I feel like every episode somebody makes Sophie cry. And when Sophie cries, then we all cry. So now Sophie, she's upset. She goes to the bar. She goes to Ryan's bar. She's sitting at the bar, and then she told Ryan, she was like, listen, she's like, yo, my bad. Batwoman busted up my investigation, and because of that, my boss threw me off the case. But she's like, I just want to let you know that the person that's replacing me, he's a loose cannon, and there's a chance that if he finds out where Angelique is, he's just going to blow up the whole building with everybody in it. So then, Ryan's like, well, we got to do something. And then, she was just like, well, there's nothing we can do. She said the only thing that we can do now is we can try to infiltrate the gang again. But she was like, I can't do it because my cover got blown already. So I need to find another driver, somebody that can handle the car. And then, then Ryan was just like, well, shit. She was like, I'll drive the car. And then Sophie was like, bitch, please. And then she's like, well, you don't have any other options. She's like, this way we can rescue Angelique. You can save face with your boss. She was just like, yo, give me a shot. So the 2 of them shake hands. They do the old superhero CW handshake. And then they go out to infiltrate the False Face gang. Sophie, she's just like, all right, we need to get you a meeting with the False Face gang. She's like, but there's only one person that knows where they're meeting and can find out where they're meeting so you can go down and audition. And then she's like, well, who's that? And then she brings in good old Luke, and it was kind of cool. Like, the whole scene was cool with Luke and Ryan pretending like they didn't know each other. And it wasn't awkward because usually when they do things like that, they make it unnecessarily awkward. And for them, like, it wasn't awkward at all. I thought they missed a golden opportunity because when Sophie introduced Luke, and then Ryan was just like, oh yeah, like, you look familiar. She's like, didn't I serve you here, at the bar once, when they had the KK memorial, Luke was there during the memorial. But that would have been a good moment for Ryan to say to Luke, she was like, oh yeah, I know you, you're Luke Fox. Like, aren't you Mary's boyfriend? And then, they could have played with that whole scene, but they missed opportunity. Anyway, so Ryan, so Luke got her in. He got her an audition with the False Face Society, and then Sophie was like, all right, I'm gonna go get the car ready, and then we'll go down there. And then Luke and Ryan had their private back conversation, and then Luke was just like, listen, he said, I'm gonna put this device in your car. He said, because this device, it'll allow me to take control of the car, and it'll also keep you from swerving out of control so you don't ruin your audition. The device also had, like a 2-way radio in it where the 2 of them can talk and communicate with each other. That That proved to be a bad idea later on. So she takes the device, she puts the device in the car. They were actually driving Mary's car, which I thought was funny. Ryan drives the car, she passes her audition, the False Face Society brings her in, and it's like, all right, you're a part of the team. So they're going down. There's just like, all right, there's a warehouse where we got to pick up some fear toxin. Let's go pick it up. So the three of them, they go down, they drive. Like she's doing her Fast and Furious thing. She's dipping and whipping. The cops show up. She dips the cops. Luke ended up taking over because he can take over manually. Back at the Batcave, like he was driving and swerving and everything. She ended up they received the fear toxin. Batwoman ended up putting a tracker into one of the vials of the fear toxin. So this way, now that the tracker is in there, they can track where the False Face Society's hideout is, and they can actually go take down Black Mask. So job well done. Ryan and Luke pulled it off. They did crash the car. They kind of crashed the car because when the cops came, they left Mary's car by the side of the road, shot up full of bullet holes, which was jacked up. So, so then after that, so then Ryan, she goes back to where the meeting place was because Sophie was at the bar. She was doing surveillance and she was doing the tracker. Sophie shows up, Luke shows up, and then they're just like, all right, we planted the tracker. Where's Sophie? What happened to Sophie? Sophie's not here. And then, then Ryan figured out, she was just like, oh, Sophie ended up, because Sophie's whole thing was she didn't want Ryan to be a part of it anyway because she was afraid that Ryan was going to be in danger. And she needed Ryan basically just to plant the tracker. Once the tracker got planted, Sophie didn't really need Ryan anymore, so she basically just took that upon herself to dip on her and and to go take down Black Mask herself. So Luke and Ryan, they're just like, all right, suit up because now we got to go save Sophie. Sophie goes down to Black Mask's hideout. She sees where he is. He gets the drop on her and ties her up. And then he puts the gun to her head and he's just like, yo, if I don't kill a crow once a day, he was like, I feel sad. So he takes out his gun. He's getting ready to shoot Sophie in the face. Batwoman shows up, ends up fighting back Black Mask. And while the two of them are fighting, Black Mask was actually giving her the hands a little bit. Like, I can't even front. It's not even like, and then I'm just like, yo, she needs to use her weapons more. I'm like, what gadgets does she have aside from the batarangs? But anyway, Black Mask caught her with a hook punch. It knocked blood out of Batwoman's mouth. Blood got splattered all over the wall. But then, Sophie ended up getting out of the restraints that she was in. Sophie and Batwoman together, they beat up Black Mask and they took down Black Mask. Then at that moment, Black Mask put Angelique on the television and one of his goons had a gun to her head. And he told her, he was just like, yo, either let me walk out of here scot-free or Angelique gets two to the dome. So then both of them backed off. They let Black Mask escape. Black Mask escapes. He goes back to Angelique, and then Batwoman and Sophie, they're just kind of like upset because they saved each other, but they didn't get the chance to save Angelique. Black Mask goes back to Angelique, and then he's just like, listen, he was like, yo, if you can't cook up the snake bite, he's like, I don't have a use for you. And then she was just like, well, the only person that knows like the formula in and out is Ocean. And then she was just like, yo, if you keep me alive, I'll help you find Ocean. So now the search for Ocean begins as far as Black Mask and Angelique is concerned. The mercenary guy from the Crows, he goes to the crime scene where Batwoman and Sophie fought Black Mask, and he actually sees the blood on the floor that Batwoman left behind. So now he has a sample of Batwoman's blood, and I guess he can track that blood to find out if it's Ryan's blood. So he's on the verge of finding out that Ryan is Batwoman. Sophie, she goes back to Mary's car to go retrieve Mary's car, and then the device that Luke had put into the car, that where the two of them were able to communicate back and forth, and he could take control of the wheel. Sophie ended up pulling the device from the car. I have no idea why Luke didn't go get that damn thing, because usually Luke's more on top of things like that, but for some reason he let this one slide. I don't know why he let that one slide. Sophie takes the device back to Crow's headquarters. She plugs it up to the computer, puts the headphones on, and then she hears a conversation between Ryan and between Luke, where Luke was just like, listen, like just put your hands on the wheel, just drive safely and you'll be fine. And then Ryan was just like, God, I really miss my bat suit right now. I wish I could be in the bat suit. And then now Sophie's like, oh shit, this bitch is Batwoman. And this is going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm okay with her finding out this early, but at the same time, I'm happy that she does know, because I want to see the drama that's going to unfold now that she knows her secret. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the next episode now that Sophie has the information. And is Sophie even going to tell her? Because who knows? Sophie might not even say anything. She might not even tell her. So like I said, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Alice basically went to Enigma's office and she ran up on Enigma, and then she was like, I need you to remove my memories. And then she was just like, memories of what? She's like, I already took your memories. She's like, no, my memories of my sister, because Kate's dead and I want to forget. And then Enigma was trying to tell her, she was just like, you don't want to do that. She was like, you don't want to get rid of the memories of your sister, because that's the only shred of humanity that you have left. Like, that's the only decency. That's where your emotion comes from. So you got to keep that. And then she's just like, I don't have any emotion. And then she was like, just get these memories out of my brain. So she ended up doing like her little hypnotism thing, her hypnotize thing, and then it put Alice in a hypnotic state and a trance where she was in a car with a 13-year-old Kate Kane. And the two of them were having a conversation. She was just like, oh, how do I get rid of you, you little snot-nosed punk? And then she was just like, you can't get rid of me because I'm your emotions. She said that you have more emotion than you know, Alice. She was like, you're capable of love. You're capable of, being loved. Like, she was like, you're capable of having compassion. And, she's like, but if you get rid of me, you're probably going to lose that part of you. So I wouldn't recommend that you do that. So then she ends up putting her like in another dream sequence where she finds herself making love to Ocean, making love in the ocean. And then when she saw herself in the room with Ocean and she was making out with Ocean, she was like, I know these ain't my dreams. It's like these ain't my memories. And then, in the dream sequence, Ocean had asked her while they were getting it on, he was just like, why did you kill me? And then she didn't answer him. And then at that moment, the real Ocean busted into the room. He put the gun on Alice. So then Enigma was like, oh, I thought you were dead. And then that's when he told her, like, she put Desert Rose on the knife and like she brought me back to life. He actually said, I'm here in Gotham for something specific, but I figured I might as well make a detour real quick and run up on you and just ask the question, why the hell did you kill me? Like, why did you shoot me? And she didn't want to answer. Beth didn't want to answer. Alice didn't want to answer. And then Ocean was like, yo, just answer the goddamn question. And then the two of them started like fighting. They got into it. While they were fighting, Enigma basically like cut her rope and got herself free. And then she used the secret word because she was like, I told Sophia I would never do this. And then she used the magic words. Like whatever she did to hypnotize the two of them, she undid the hypnotism. So now the two of them, like the whole brainwashing thing. So the two of them have their memories back now. Both Ocean and Alice, Beth have all their memories back. They know that they were in love. They know what happened to them on the island. They know the whole thing now. And then while they were sitting there like deranged in their own, like with the flush of all their memories returning, Enigma basically dipped. God knows where she went. Alice and Ocean had a conversation in the alley, and then he was just like, yo, I remember everything. And then he asked her, he was just like, yo, he was like, why did you kill me? He's like, was it worth it? Did you feel bad at least? Like, did you have some remorse? And then she was like, I did it, for my sister. And then he was just like, nah, dead ass. And then she was just like, listen, she was like, that's the type of person that I am. She said, but he was just like, I told you how I feel. I'm not incapable of telling you how I feel, but he said, this might be your only chance at love, bitch, so you better get up on it. And she said, and then she basically told him, she was just like, well, if that's the case, she's like, before I get the impulsive urge to kill you again, she was just like, let's just get it on right here in the alley with all these dead rats and all this garbage. And then Ocean and Alice made love in the alley. And that was it. So, and I like the two of them being a duo. I like Ocean and Alice being a team, and I want to see what's going to happen now that both of them have their memories back and they're both well aware of everything that happened. Does he try to bring her back into the fold with Sophia on the island? Does he go rogue again? But then he also told her that the reason why he was sent to Gotham was because since Alice burnt down all the Desert Rose, he told Sophia, like Ocean told Sophia, that there was one Desert Rose that existed in Gotham, and they knew that Batwoman had it because Batwoman was dying of kryptonite poisoning, and now she's not. So they're like, obviously the bitch got the Desert Rose. Otherwise, otherwise she would have been cured of kryptonite poisoning. So now maybe Ocean and Alice are going to go after Batwoman and try to get the Desert Rose. The False Face gang, they're going after Ocean, and then Batwoman's going to be caught in the mix trying to break this whole thing up. In the meantime, Sophie knows her secret, and Commander Kane's still smoking that crack. So thank you for tuning in. Let me know down below what you think's going on, because there's a lot of storylines going on here. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on here. We got Black Mask, we got Ocean and Beth, we got Batwoman, we got Sophie. Like, a lot of bombs have been dropped. We got Commander Kane. So the only two people that's not actually involved in something is Luke and Mary. And then we still got Kate. Like, Kate's still in the mix. Like, Kate still works for the False Face gang. So when this thing explodes, like, this thing's gonna explode. There's no Batwoman, I think, for the next 2 weeks. Like, Batwoman doesn't resume until May 2nd. And when Batwoman comes back on May 2nd, it's moving from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And I saw that Legends of Tomorrow is back. Like, I'm going to do a video, like a pre-video for Legends of Tomorrow. And Legends of Tomorrow comes back May 2nd as well, which is also Sunday. So I think, Legends of Tomorrow is going to be on Sundays at 8 o'clock now, and they're going to move Batwoman to 9 o'clock. So that'd be cool. So I have 2 shows that I could watch on Sunday, to get my superhero fix. Looking forward to reviewing Legends. So like I said, so leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think's going to happen with all these storylines that are going on with Batwoman, and which storyline are you excited for? What do you think's going to happen in the conclusion? And when does Kate actually reveal herself and make the whole thing awkwardly weird? Thanks for tuning in, guys. So for Batwoman, for this Fast and Furious Batwoman episode, take care, and I'm out this bitch!